Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is Thursday night. It is Ginetta GT4 supercar action here. And it's also the halfway point of the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship from the legendary Spa-Francorchamps circuit, which currently measures just over 7 kilometres, just a shade over 4.3 miles, 20 turns. You join Alex Goldschmidt and James Parfitt, your commentary team, throughout the whole of this series. And, well, what a circuit we've got but it's going to be the longest on the calendar. Looking back after last week at Donington Park, well, Jack London took the spoils of victory, and then we found that we've got two tied at the top of the championship. Chris McIntosh and Mitch Marie. We're into the dying stages here of time qualifying, and the ominous Jaws music has started ringing in my ears again, James, because Jake Hewlett is back and is leading in qualifying by nearly 1.8 seconds as we head into the final 35 on the timer.
Yes, it is. Now, we did talk about this last week, and we briefly said how long Spa's going to be in these cars, right? And we did say about how long the lap times are likely to be. 2:25, it's going to be a while. So 1.7 over qualifying over one lap, I'm hoping isn't reflective coming into the race, right? Otherwise, Jake is going to be a good 10 plus seconds ahead after 10 laps. And we think there's only going to be something like 20 laps, if that, I think, during this period of time. But I am a little bit worried that if London doesn't get hold of Hewlett or Rugi or Caravella, then Jack's going to pull away, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but the checkered is out for the qualifying session. And some drivers, including Jack London, who's currently running second. New livery for Jack this week. So nice to see a little bit of spice and variety in the colour schemes that we have here on the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship. Thank you so much to everyone joining us on the JP Broadcasting Network. So it is going to be a mandatory pit stop and a 50-minute race. So we were saying about anywhere between 18 to 20 laps of this circuit will be completed by the checkered flag as Jack makes his way in towards the double left here at Pouhon, the first one, and then you wait and then start turning it in, rotating it. And Jack using an interesting line there, James, because first apex he nailed. The second one, you let it run a little bit wider to carry that speed into Lefagna.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do. He's got to open it up. You can use quite a lot of curbs here. Now, obviously, off-tracks are a thing, and, you've obviously got to be careful, but obviously sim to sim, it differs on what they class as an off-track situation, and I think all in all, you've just got to use as much as the track. Spa is so tricky to get right, but when you get it right, it feels great. But when you get it wrong, boy, oh boy, do you feel horrible, because lots can go wrong during that period of time.
And we've seen a few drivers during free practice and also this 20-minute qualifying session have quite a few struggles, including Jake Hewlett. So Jack London now comes into the bus stop for what will be his final attempt here in qualifying. Can he get any closer to Jake Hewlett in terms of pure lap pace here in qualifying as he crosses the stripe? Now he does improve, 2-minute 27.220. That is his final attempt, gets him to within 1.5 seconds of Jake Hewlett. But then we look a little bit further down. We've got 18 cars set to take part in this race. We've got a couple of new additions, but it is going to be Jake Hewlett starting from pole position. Jack London will start alongside on the front row, ahead of Andrea Ruggi, with Alexander Karavayev rounding out the top four. Then we've got Justin Kirk and Chris McIntosh, row 3. Mitch Marie and Will Butsey will be rounding out row 4, with Ruby Daiquiri and Oliver Founds rounding out the top 10. Philip Rusek and Tom Wolfe rounding out row 6. Albert Horacek and Sam Hayes, row 7. Ryan Turner and Tam Harkin rounding out the top 8 rows, with Wojciech Novak. And then we've got Silva, who that's probably just their username, I would have thought, rounding out the 18 that qualified, covered by a spread of about 7.1 seconds. But the biggest thing is that if you are a sports car nut, you will love this circuit. It's the home of the Crown Strike 24 Hours of Spa. It's hosted the 6 hours of Spa-Francorchamps in the World Endurance Championship. but it is also a haunt sometimes that British GT in years past have come to visit this circuit as well for GT3 and GT4 competition. But slipstreaming is going to be another crucial factor coming down the Kemmel Straight into Licom, into Malmedy, and then heading down into Bruxelles. So there is an opportunity for some drivers to make good use of the aerodynamic properties of these cars.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're going to really be looking out for is how these guys deal with this situation. That's going to be the question, right? It's a long track. It's lots to take in at Spa. They've got to make sure they get it right. And it's going to be very, very difficult. They've got to really not go too wide up through El Rouge Radion. Please don't do that, because one of you will end up spinning.
And have a code brown at the same time.
Yes, sir.
And then maybe have kittens afterwards as well.
Yes.
But we are waiting for the 6 red lights to light up here at Spa. And as you can see, it's red sky at night, shepherd's delight, as we would say here in the UK. And there will be headlights ablaze. I'm wondering if we're going to see a couple of drivers maybe on the flashers like we saw at Donington Park last week. Someone definitely, I can't remember who it was, had the high beams on the whole time.
Chris.
There we go. It was Chris McIntosh. Whether he will be able to employ said tactic here at Spa, but it is, as I said, it's going to be a 50-minute flat-out race, but there is that all-important mandatory pit stop, and James clarified what you've got to do. You've got to change tyres, and you've got to put at least 1 litre of fuel. And now we're under starters' orders as the red lights start up here at Spa-Francorchamps for round 3 of the Ginetta Supercup Championship by 150 Motorsport. The lights are out and everyone gets off of the start-finishing grid. But it is Jake Hewlett leading the way. There's going to be a dive bomb on the inside. Oh, and it's 3 wide coming out, and there's a bit of tail. That was a bit of tails wagging the dog there for Jack London. There's carnage in the background. Someone's reversing. I think Justin Kirk. There have been multiple contretemps, and Andrea Ruggi was the one that went up the inside at La Source, through on Jake Hewlett, nearly lost the back end coming out of Radillon, and now they come down the infamous Kemmel Straight. Ruggi leads, Hewlett second.
Yeah.
Then it's Kirk, McIntosh, Karavayev. And now, what's Jake going to try here? Don't throw it around the outside of Licon, please.
No, Ruggi's going to throw it off for him. That's going to make Jake's decision a lot easier coming into Malmedy. They're 2 wide further back at the same time now, heading down into Rivage. Ruggi knew he had to try and get there. He didn't, well, he's trying to get there again, but he's not doing this cleanly. There's a lot of urgency. There's a lot of scrappiness. He's very untidy from Ruggi. Going into No Name now, and he does look very on the edge. That's the fear, I think, at the moment, is whether or not he's going to be able to make this last here, because Andrea Ruggi looking very, very raggedy indeed. Ooh.
Yeah, going through Pouon for the first time, and Jake Hewlett fires it up the inside of the first of the 2 left-handers, originally known as Double Gorge, but around the outside.
Oh, it's gone!
Ruggi thinks, oh, Hewlett's lost it.
Yeah, I think Hewlett went. There was contact, and then all of a sudden, Hewlett went off. He's now down in 10th place. Oh, man, I think Ruggi was being very, very, very aggressive, and I do wonder what's going to come back from this.
Yeah, there was a mention on the live timing of contact between the pair, but Andrea Ruggi now leads as we head through Paul Frere in towards Blanchimont, then into the bus stop chicane. This circuit first opened back in September of 1921, the current variation of the circuit.
Oh, Jake's got smoke.
There was smoke, and that is from the right rear. Oh, no.
Jake's on the floor.
Hewlett, that's got a big old puncture on the right rear. Jake is crawling that car back to pit lane, smoke billowing. Oh, dearie me, it's gone from bad to worse. Of course, we had the dramas with the opening round.
Oh,
but Jake's going to lose
Jake.
it. Oh, he nearly did a Kimi Räikkönen there.
Yeah, almost into the wall.
Godfathers.
But you can see on the back of that car, it is smoking like crazy. Coming out the right rear arch. Oh, I tell you, there's going to be some confident words exchanged here, because I can guarantee Ruggi was the aggressor. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, you can be aggressive to a point, but then sometimes if you overstep the mark, and obviously we only caught the tail end of Jake going off, coming out of Puon, and the back end completely all over the shop. So whether the contact gave Jake that damage, which looked like it resulted in either suspension damage or a puncture, but Andrea Ruggi now leaves from Chris McIntosh. Chris is now being chased down by Justin Kirk and race 2 winner Jack London, who moved up to third in the standings. It's level peggings at the moment coming into this halfway point of the season between Chris McIntosh and Mitch Marie. Mitch Marie all the way down in 11th position after the dramas that we saw. Not even some of the drivers getting through La Source well enough. I mean, we saw one of the drivers, I think it was Sam Harkin, going backwards. As there you see, McIntosh has got the high beams engaged as we head into Le Fagne, with briefly for a moment the behind camera shot of Andrea Ruggi now with Chris McIntosh. And there you can see in his rear view mirror, he's got Kirk and London closing in. Ruby Daiquiri, who started a little bit further down the order, now running P5, and there is a send. That is Kirk through on McIntosh as they come out of Stavlo, and now London's got the side draft on McIntosh. But they don't need to squeeze each other here. This is a 50-minute race, let's not forget.
Yeah, it definitely is. London needs to be a little bit careful. McIntosh cannot keep opening it up like that. If London's going to be on the outside, it is all going to go a little bit wrong here. You can see London's now looking at making the inside line. Is he going to brake late? He is going to brake late. Can he get it stopped before he goes into the back? He does get it stopped before he goes into the back of Kirk. London is through. McIntosh, by his own rights here, did say he was struggling. He done. It was about 10 minutes left to practice, and he turned around and done. I've done an exact amount of 0 laps, which wasn't ever good.
Yeah, and someone's just had a little bit of a ta-ta-ta, as you like to say, with Tom Wolfe. I think that might have been Ryan Turner that's had a little bit of a coming together. No, I think Philip Rusek has DNF'd, apparently, to the timing tower. So Sam Hayes has now moved up past Silver. Well, they're swapping places like nobody's business, and that's the battle for 12th and 13th position. They're going to be going down the hill, but Andrea Ruggi now on what is now our second lap is 4.63 seconds away, and London back through on McIntosh, and Ruby Daiquiri is actually closing in. Oh, sideways there, coming through the first Butterlicom by Jack London, and Ruby Daiquiri is now doing the Chris McIntosh style right now.
Yeah, closing in.
Got the high beams on.
There he goes up the inside again. He's trying to hold this position, and he's not quite getting it at the exit there. Down into the left-hander, a no-name. McIntosh is still in behind. Ruby in behind that, and they're starting to close up a gap. But why they're fighting, Andrea Ruggi, who may not be on the Christmas card list of Jake Hewlett, he is out in front by 5.37 seconds. So all to play for, but at the moment, this chasing pack here cannot afford to keep fighting with each other.
Yeah, completely agree. They need to start indirectly working together, as right on board briefly with the Baldy and Roberts liveried car of Ruby Daiquiri, who's now really up the exhaust pipe of Chris McIntosh as they go through into campus, then into the run through Stavlo. You can use the outside curbing to really accentuate your momentum coming out of the corner. And mistake there from McIntosh. And Ruby Daiquiri, nearly gives McIntosh a hip check there. Oh yeah, Ruby Daiquiri's running in the old Carl Baldley livery from way back when, and still coming through into Blanchimont. Oh no, Chris McIntosh! Oh, he glances the wall, McIntosh is off, left-hand side, clatters into the barriers. And that is disaster once again for the man who was level on the top of the standings coming into round 3 here at Spa. Chris McIntosh just gets away with it.
Yeah, he's still managing to hold on. Caravea and Marie have just switched places. Caravea is in front now in ninth. Mitch Marie there in 10th place behind him. There is Marie. Is he going to be able to make this move going down into La Source? It doesn't look like he's close enough, unless he just does that. He cover miles back. He's not stopping it. You're not stopping it. Too much, mate. Too much. Way too late for Mitch Marie.
Yeah, that was like the unfortunate non-full execution of a Danny Rick. You licked the stamp, but you forgot to send it. And you sent it past the apex, I'm afraid.
He did at the moment. Hewlett right the way down in 16th. Nobody else currently at the moment having a little bit of a battle. There's a little second between Turner and Oliver Founds as they're on their way down into Lacombe through the right-hander. Oh, Founds just got that all wrong. He's going to be under attack here if Turner can keep this going, Alex, because I can tell you what, Founds is looking a little bit slidey.
Yeah, I think it's Oliver Founds' first appearance on the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship. So good to have another few more drivers adding the numbers to the grids, but also the fact that Oliver Founds is he's very, very close to nearly glancing that barrier coming out of No Name corner there as they head down the hill. This is, of course, one of the biggest car racing roller coasters, if you will, on a par with maybe, say, Portimao, Interlagos. They all have inclines and descents, and it's just wonderful to have. It's great to see that we've seen some close battle racing early doors in this race, as we are 30 seconds away from the pit window for being open. So the pit window opens after the first 10 minutes, then closes with 10 minutes remaining. So as I said earlier, all drivers have to change tyres and put at least 1 litre of fuel. And the thing is, this is a very throttle-heavy circuit here, James. They're going to be on the full throttle for at least 65 to 75% of the lap. And then it's going to be hard on the brakes, which then also causes a slight deg problem with the tyres.
Yeah, I think the thing is they've got to be careful. There's been a lot of rear sliding all the way through in certain corners, and that's basically just applying the throttle too quick. That's where the problem comes from. You know, spinning up the rear tyres, never going to be ideal for these guys at the best of times. They've got to keep it nice and clean and try and gentle bring in the throttle. It's like the F3, the lower F3. You've got to be nice and be sweet and, you know, just treat it nicely. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. We've lost Rusek, we have, but that is this, due to internet issues.
Okay, so probably ping related there, so possible disconnect. Karavayev is the first one in the pit lane. So Karavayev, who was running quite high up the order, but in the meantime, when we go back to the battle for second, third and fourth, as Justin Kirk under significant pressure from Ruby Daiquiri at the moment, and they are covered by shy of a quarter of a second, if that. Oh, lock up from Kirk going into Rivage and then heading into No Name corner. Ruby Daiquiri, another new entrant to the series, has really put the cat amongst the proverbial Ginetta pigeons here tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the more we can get, the better, right? The more these leagues can get, the better it is. And they've added a few drivers to their roster as it's gone on here. Oliver Founds, Ruby's there as well. Silva's down in 13th, Harkin in 15th. All new drivers, which is great for everybody and great for us. But the problem is you never quite know how these drivers are going to react. How are they going to be? You know, don't get me wrong, I've seen leagues where the drivers are just punting each other for fun and it's all very ended.
Turner's just had he's just hit the wall somewhere. Oh, well, he's going wheels, of all places, through at Lefagna. And Mitch Marie has got Ryan Turner to the outside going into Campus. And Turner's still going to keep it round to the outside. Careful. Turner tries to get in on the inside, clips the grass, back end sideways by Ryan Turner, who holds on to it despite nearly having a code brown and a check of the underwear post-race. Coming through that corner, and that's a very, very easy thing to do in these 3.7 litre V6 Ford-powered cars, rear-wheel drive. So it's definitely the fact of you've got to hold on for your life if the tail end wags on the dog.
Absolutely. Jake's just passed Silver there and is now opened up a gap and is pulling out down the road at the moment. Next possible closest gap is Hayes and Caravea. Everybody else looks a little bit further back currently, so we'll keep an eye out and see whether or not Caravea can get close to Hayes. We are in pit window, so there we go. I was going to do the race, but couldn't put a quali lap together despite doing a 25.7 in practice, so gave it a beep. It. Yes.
Yes.
Stefan, I understand that. A couple of people, don't worry about it, mate. You're not the only one who did not do practice laps, who could not get the right practice laps. Chris McIntosh couldn't get a practice lap in. I think it was Horacek who also had problems getting a lap in. So you're not alone, but at the moment, McIntosh is 5th and Horacek is 6th.
Yeah, we're riding aboard with Alexander Karavayev, closing in on Sam Hayes. And they're running their way down the Kemmel Straight. Probably the best part of over 140 miles an hour. And Karavayev is going to get the slipstream. There's Jake Hewlett in the back of shot. And he's already done one pit stop. Karavayev dived to the inside at Kemmel.
Nope.
And he's done exactly what Ruji did on lap 1. And he's going to have to let Sam Hayes back through, but Alexander better not rest on his laurels, because the first thing that he's going to see in his rear view mirrors is a lot of green, a lot of orange, and that being Jake Hewlett.
Yeah, the question is how close could Jake get? Can Jake get past these cars? How much further can he go? He was 1.7 seconds quicker. Well, there's the first one. Adios. He's just gone past Caravea. Caravea with the lights on again. You can see Jake, the way he drives, he's so smooth. He's going to sweep round the outside. He is off the side of the circuit. What's he going to do about that? Absolutely nothing. Through Sam Hayes he goes, and that's 2 places Hewlett's already gained.
Stefan, Jake does have to pit again. He pitted because he had damage to the right rear of his G55 GT4, so yeah, he's going to have to pit again. But the big thing is that Jake, possibly with his experience, would have decided, you know what, I'm going to put as much fuel in the tank as I can whilst the damage is being repaired, get a new set of tyres on it, and go for it. And that's all he can do. You know, he may not be able, I mean, to be honest with you, with the fact of how many laps, we're nearly halfway, we're nearly about 9 minutes away from half time, and we're only on lap 6. So there is still plenty of real estate for Jake to cover at the pace we know he can push. And as you said, smooth is fast in a lot of circuits, and that's very much the case here at Spa. You get a bit too jittery on the throttle pedal, a bit too jittery on the brakes, you're overcorrecting the steering. That is one of the worst things you can have here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Yeah. Spa is one of them circuits where it's got to be driven in a way that you have to be smooth. It's what we call a flow circuit. If at any point you get remotely touched out of that flow, you are going to be in trouble. You have to keep the flow of the way that the circuit runs. Look at the right-hander going down into Rivage. Get it stopped, hit your braking points. It's a continuous track. You have to continually hit your points with your points. If you find a point that works, hit it. Not, preferably, Oliver Founds, who is running side by side at the moment. Founds does manage to hold on to that position, and well, he goes over past Horacek, sorry, and Horacek got that all wrong. But it is a flow circuit, Alex. It's all about the way you deal with the machine.
Yeah, and keep that momentum flowing in the right direction rather than spinning the car out and ending up in the barriers like we saw quite a few drivers do in the early stages of the 20-minute qualifying session earlier on. So Oliver Founds ahead of Albert Horacek, who put the C with the upside-down hat on it and nearly confused the heck out of James in the Discord earlier, saying, "What's this?" He went, "Oh, I need," and then Arthur went, Albert went, "I need to get an English keyboard now."
Yes. it was all fancy little letters and everything, and I didn't understand Arthur.
Well, I think it ended up looking like it was Korean hieroglyphics to me. But in the meantime, Andrea Ruggi has pitted. Ruby Daiquiri has also pitted. So we are seeing pit stops happening now. So some drivers went probably a little bit lighter on fuel. I would say that Ruby Daiquiri and Andrea Ruggi did that as a tactic, and then to brim the car a little bit more. So a lighter fuel load can actually help gain you time. You know, if it's an extra kilo, that could cost you probably at least a tenth, maybe a tenth and a half of a second per lap. So the less fuel you've got in the car, the easier it is to get that car quicker around the circuit. However, when the car gets lighter with fuel, what's the downside to that? Centre of gravity goes up, as Will Butsey just had a lock-up going into La Source. He's got Ryan Turner trying to close on in, and there is Jake Hewlett making his way down. So this is 9th, 10th and 11th, heading down the hill in towards Eau Rouge et Radiant. And up the hill we go with Ryan Turner on board. And yeah, like you see with a lot of, say, the Spa 24 Hours every year, there are some cars that do like to circumvent full track limits, which means all four wheels outside of the lines that designate the tarmac.
Yes. Oh! Big old snap. For Turner, he was getting close. Unfortunately for him, that's going to allow Hewlett to close up as well. Alicia is in YouTube chat. Good evening, young lady. Ross Hogan is there as well. Plenty of time for Tam to pull it back. There is. Unfortunately, it's not going so well for Tam at the moment. He is in pit lane, not due to an incident. This is his pit stop. But at the moment, we've got Turner, Butsey and Hewlett are all going to come here. I swear to God, I think Jake's going to get to these two as well. But it's how he goes about getting them. And Turner's just going to give it to him. Can't make a mistake like that.
Alicia, can I just ask a question? Did Jake have to cook his own dinner tonight? Because he was on driving duties.
I had to cook mine.
Yeah, I cooked mine. Yeah, I cooked mine as well. But yeah, I mean, in the meantime, it has been musical chairs between Mr. Turner and Mr. Hewlett at the moment, with Jake with the high beams on. So saying to Ryan, "Come on, man, get out of the way, coming through." Now when they come out of Stavelot, in towards Kerbal Fair, here goes Jake towards the inside. He got a hip check. He got a hip check there from Ryan Turner. Now Turner's going to fire it through. Oh, don't try and tell me you're going to try and do this at Blanchimont, boys. This is not going to go down well if you all start trying to battle over real estate. And that has opened the door. Butsey's now got Hewlett to his outside. Butsey locking up under brakes into the bus stop. Hewlett gets through around the outside, nails the inside apex through the left-hander onto the start-finish straight. And now, well, Will's still fighting with Jake at the moment, coming out of that final 20th corner. So this is... Oh, dear, Will Butsey again blocking up under brakes into La Source. Will's just... I think it's like that term that I always like to say here. There's the sense of desperation, and then there's the sense of urgency. The sense of desperation is people just going, well, I've got everything to gain, nothing to lose, and just throw caution to the wind.
They're dry. Be nice, James. They're trying. I'm trying to pick words. They're trying to overdrive their limit. I think that's why, like that. Turner's going to come back. Oh, he's hitting Hewlett again. Oh, yeah, that was... he hit him again.
Fate of circumstance. Fate of circumstance. You said overdriving the vehicle. And I think because Ryan, being under significant pressure from Jake, forced himself into just a characteristic unforced error. And that's exactly how James's point was just proved.
Yes, right on point. But that's what makes a good racing driver. They put you under pressure. They make you overdrive the car. Don't get me wrong. You know, Jake has been in a rumble here this evening. You know, he's almost like been in the Royal Rumble. Everybody's roughing him up, and he's the guy in the corner who's got no teammates. You know what I mean? He's been roughed up tonight. Rougy's given him a bit of a rough in at the beginning. He's had extra battles in there at the same time. You know, Jake's had to pull on the big boy pants here and try and recover and get on. But at the same time, he is being roughed up. Turner roughed him up as well before Turner made a mistake. Butsey didn't make it easy for him. You know, so poor old Jake is been almost kind of Billy No Mates out on the racetrack. But then, is that maybe what he needs to dethrone the man that took last season's championship by a country mile and never lost a round from round two? You know, does he need to have this roughness? Does he need to get the elbows out? Do these guys need to give him a little bit? Do I agree with what Rougi did at the beginning where he just punted him sideways and off the, you know, moving him upwards, should we say? No, I don't.
Yeah.
But he's done what he had to do. And now Rougi's in 4th, Hewlett's down in 9th. But they are roughing Jake up a little bit here. It's kind of, you know, 17 and Jake.
Well, Alicia has just said, I cooked Jake's dinner, and she's then said, I don't do it because I'd get beat to knock people off. Well, that's exactly what Jake's been going through tonight. Stefan said that I learned not to quit on iRacing because it kills my iRating, but I was ready to smash my rig by the end of quali with laugh out loud emojis afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can understand from a lot of perspectives that it can be very, very frustrating when things don't pan out your way. But when you look at it, we now have the man that won race 2 at Donington Park. So at the moment, we could be on course for possibly 3 different winners from 3 different races so far. Because next week, into the second half of the season, we go. In 7 days' time, we head to the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. And then we have Brands Hatch and then Snetterton 300 to round out this season. So yeah, I mean, Jake won the ST150 Motorsport title by a country mile and wrapped up with at least a round or 2 to spare. But here, it's, as we were talking at the first race of the season, it was a case of, it's a very, very different animal to a front-wheel drive, front-engined, Torque Series style car. You go into a rear-wheel drive vehicle, and the way you set up the vehicle, the way that you drive the vehicle, there's a completely different ebb and flow with throttle and brake inputs and so many other factors you've got to take into consideration. Track temperature. Did you get your tyres in the window early in the race? Are you overdriving the car to the point where your tyres are going off a cliff? Mitch Marie now pits at just past the 25-minute mark, so we're into the second half of this race. So Mitch Marie pits from 6th spot. So at the moment with 10 laps on the board, Jack London leads the way, Justin Kirk second by about 7.7 seconds disadvantage. Chris McIntosh in third, Andrea Ruggi, Oliver Fownes, Albert Horacek, Rudy Daiquiri, Jake Hewlett, Mitch Marie, Alexander Karavayev round out the top 10 with Butsy, Turner. Well, Butsy's now pitted as well, so Karavayev's moved up to 9th place. But this is where we're going to see how late are some of these drivers going to facilitate their pit stop. And that's crucial because this is a very, very long pit lane here at Spa. So you go in at the bus stop, you come out as everyone's hitting the crest of the hill, and you're coming out just leading onto the Kemmel Straight.
I'm just wondering whether or not, I think Rougi's been in pit lane, hasn't he? He must have been in pit lane, yes. He has been in pit lane. So London, Kirk and McIntosh is not. Max, you're going to have to remind me what I'm looking at there, if that is directed at me. James, did you see the overtake by Yuri Nata last night?
He slept since then.
Yeah, dude, I don't even know. I recognise every name, right? That's the only problem with it, and I have no idea who Yuri Nata is. So, Max, give me more information. Not entirely sure on that one. And if you say triple bypass, I wasn't on it, dude. So, I haven't sat and watched it yet, no.
We're coming up to 23 minutes to go out of the 50-minute race here at Spa-Francorchamps. And good to see that we're in. 20 people now watching in total on the live stream. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. Don't forget to, if you haven't already, like, share and subscribe. We are now over the 3,000 subscriber mark here on JPB. There's also plenty of racing to check out over the course of the coming days, including this weekend. There's a
he's got it wrong.
Racing. Ruggi has just dumped it off a cliff as London's gone into the pits. I think that's Andrea Ruggi possibly kissing goodbye to the race victory after that mistake.
London's on his way out. Ruggi's not even in the first corner. London's going through La Source. He's going to come out in front. That spin has cost Ruggi the lead of the race. London's jumped him in pit lane. He has jumped him in pit lane. Rougy has lost it due to the spin at the bus stop. London's going to take it there as well. Just another guy. Good evening. I hope everyone is well. I'm very well, thank you very much. Alex, you good? Alex is good. He's always good.
Yeah, all good, all good.
So there we go. Hewlett moves himself back up into 6th place, but we think he's still got another pit stop coming. So it'll be where he ends up after that. But I think he's put enough laps in that you could probably say he's going to be in and out round about where he is at the moment. Oliver Founds and Caravere swapping places. Mitch Marie, Ryan Turner, as they come out of pit lane at the same time. So, yeah, great racing still to come. We've got 21 minutes on the clock.
Yep, and we run on board briefly with the number 52, Alexander Karavayev, closing in on Oliver Founds. This is the battle for P7 and P8. As they just come over the crest at Radiant, now over the Kemmel Straight they go. Karavayev's going to get the slipstream from the car in front. And here at Spa, with the amount of real estate that you got from Radiant down to Lincoln that they're just heading through now, you've got a monster slipstream, especially if you get a tailwind pushing your car along, and especially if you've got a car in front of you. So they're going to go down the hill from Malmedy into Rivage. Neither of them lock up under braking, but a slightly wider line taken by Karavayev just to carry that momentum through.
Oh, he's got it wrong!
He stepped the back end out. He over-rotated. I think he was a bit too over-aggressive on the loud pedal. Gave it the berries with the right foot, and Karavayev, well, he could have done a number on Founds, I think possibly coming out of Stavlo and into Corporal Frere, but that's just, he's just wasted that opportunity just by being a little bit heavy on that throttle pedal. Maybe a bit too much steering input there as well.
Yeah, he needed to be a little bit more gentler. Needed to be a little bit more nicer for Caravera. He's got Marie closing in. You can see Marie at the top behind us there. Found sitting in 2nd. Hewlett in 6th. He's only 3 seconds back from Rubidaka, who's just gone round coming into the bus stop. Jake's going to make it through. Kirk's now in pit lane. London's going to go through. Is Rougy going to make it past Kirk? He should do. And that's Rougy up into 3rd. It's just McIntosh now to pit. The problem for McIntosh is already London's only 1.1 back from him. And I have not seen Chris go in pit lane. I don't think he's been in pit lane. So if he hasn't, then fair play to him. And if he has, well, he's going to be under pressure.
Yeah, well, Chris McIntosh has not yet pitted. The gap between him and Jack London is just over 1.1 seconds. So there is an opportunity here that Jack London will become the de facto lead, is effectively the de facto leader after Andrea Ruggi's unfortunate mistake coming out of the bus stop. But Ruggi now is about 6 and a bit seconds away from Jack London. But the key question is here, folks, how long is it going to take for Jack London, who's now within half a second, whether he's going to get through on track? And if he does that, then that's going to bump Chris McIntosh even further down the order.
Yeah, it is. London can get there first, of course. He's going to get 2 attempts on McIntosh now. McIntosh has now got to defend like a trooper. Is he going to be able to? Nope. London's going to go through. They're going to come down at the bottom end of your picture. Through he goes. London's on his bike. That's McIntosh dispatched off there. For Ruggi now is 5.7 seconds back.
So Ruggi has started in some respects picking up the pace here. He's seen the battle in front, knows about the battle in front by the information on his heads up on his HUD or whatever dials that he has on his sim rig. We're coming down to the final 18 minutes of this race. Now I would hazard a guess that Chris McIntosh needs to pit either at the end of this lap or the next one to just safely make sure he gets his pit stop carried out. And well, all I'm going to say,
he's gonna do. Oh, Marie nearly got him. But God blimey, did Caravea shut the door on him. It was so close. I thought there was all going to be something Caravea going to be hooked around the nose of Marie. And it was all going to be done through Paul Ferrer, down through Blanchimont now. Jake has done Ruby. Ruby's done Jake. Jake has done Ruby. That's why they've done
Ruby's
each other.
Ruby's around the outside.
Oh. Told you, Jake is being Man, he's not having his own way tonight. He is being bullied. Like a kid in a playground. He's just losing all of his lunch. Ah, he's done it himself. Oh, Ruby.
Well,
they're still side by side.
Ruby's done a Mitch Marie right there.
Oh.
Now is going to slot in behind. Chris McIntosh has now rejoined behind these two. So Ruby's already been in the pits. Jake has got I think Jake has still got a pit stop to make. I think because he came in within the first 5 minutes with significant right rear damage. And Ruby Daiquiri to the outside of Jake Hewlett down the Kemmel Straight. They are nearly going to be rubbing door panels. The nose dives down for Ruby Daiquiri into Licom. Slots in behind Jake Hewlett. Chris McIntosh says, oh, two's company, three's a crowd. I'll have a bite out of this.
Oh.
And more to the point, it is going to be the case now that Mitch Marie and Alexander Karavayev are now coming down the Kemmel Straight. Mitch Marie has got through on the inside run on the racing line, holds on for the moment, but Karavayev kept that. That was very neat and tidy from Karavayev, but loses out on the run out of Malmedy. But that was so close. But I think there was also a little bit of paint swapping between Ruby Daiquiri and Jake Hewlett, and now Jake has said, TTFN, ta-ta for now, see you later, and has gone a second, 1.1 seconds up the road from Ruby Daiquiri. But we've still got 5.5 minutes left until the pit stop window opens. Alicia, I completely agree. Well, at least Jake has made it a bit more entertaining than not just 10 seconds ahead. That's what with more numbers on the grid, that is what this series can provide, as well as other series as well. Live Cruiser says, come on Karavayev, keep getting those fast laps and focus on your race, bro. Pick your battles wisely. Good advice there from Live Cruiser. As here is Chris McIntosh closing in on Ruby Daiquiri, who was sideways through Blanchimont. Walloped the inside curb, and I think the back end nearly had a mind of its own there.
Yeah.
Albert Horacek in the meantime has found the local forestry and has just hit something at about 120 kilometers an hour. That's 75 miles per hour. But now at the minute, well, Jack London is at the minute with 14.5 minutes to go on the road to becoming a two-time winner. And that would put him very close to Chris McIntosh. McIntosh currently in 6th place, might still have a slender championship lead, but if Jack London wins this race, that's 50 points to his credit. And now McIntosh closing it on Ruby Daiquiri. They come out of Radillon, down the Kemmel Straight, McIntosh in the tow. Who's going to be the bravest of the brave as we head down to Licom?
Here we go, McIntosh on the right-hand side. He's going to make the move. Ruby's on the right now. They're going to swap places. Ruby's going to have the inside line in through Malmedy. He's going to come out the other side and have it going down into Ravage as well. No real dramas going on at the moment. You can see McIntosh diving the inside line. He does manage to get it done. What about Ruby's? What's Ruby going to do now? Jumping on board. You should be able to see Ruby very closely in one of the mirrors. There it is. Bottom right-hand corner. You just about see it. Now, here we go again. It's coming down now into Pouhon. And Chris is under heaps amount of pressure here. Literally heaps of it.
Yeah, slight lock up there from Ruby Daiquiri from, I think it's the left rear tyre. Just trying not to harpoon into the rear end of Chris McIntosh coming through the second half of the double left. But that gap is only, that's nigh on 3 and a bit tenths of a second. Well, Ruby Daiquiri's doing what Chris McIntosh did last week at Donington Park, has got the high beams on.
Yeah.
He's lost it! Oh, he's lost it, but kept it out of harm's way, kept it off the grass, kept it out of the barriers. Well held Ruby Daiquiri on that one. My godfathers, that was a very close Code Brown for our 6th place driver.
Yeah, very much so. There's a 7-second gap between Hewlett and Kirk. Do you know what? Did he have to pit? Or did he?
Well, he pit.
I don't know if he's got to pit again. Yeah, I don't know if he's got to pit again.
I think it's the thing is that if the pit stop is in the mandatory pit window, then
He will have to because he didn't pit during the window.
no, he hasn't. He hasn't. He pitted before it. He pitted before it, as far as I'm aware.
Ruby's been DNF'd.
Oh. So whether Ruby
Didn't pit.
no, or did pit but didn't fulfill the criteria.
Yeah, but she's still got 1 minute 30. They've still got 1 minute 35. But it's the same for Hewlett, isn't it?
I would admit. Well, it just depends on what happens. I mean, I'm having a look back through the live stream as to when exactly Jake actually pitted.
It was right near the beginning.
Right. Yeah, it was like literally. Yeah, it was within the first 3.5 minutes.
And
it's. To be honest with you, we're going to let the server decide. So Will Butsy has DNF'd, Ruby Daiquiri has DNF'd, so maybe the mandatory pit stop, if it hasn't been dictated openly that it's in the actual pit stop window, then Jake, he will have changed tyres, he will have put fuel in the car, because otherwise if he had kept the same amount of fuel that was in the car after 3.5 minutes, then he wouldn't have made it to the end of the race.
Butsy's been DNF'd. Novak, Rusik. We know what happened to Rusik. Ruby's been DNF'd. Unless Jake has gone in and we haven't seen it, that's why he's still out on the racetrack. But did he dive in towards the end just as the pit window opened after he had his pit stop? Because he had to go in to get prepared.
Yeah, that's the question. But now the pits are closed. Pits are closed. 10 minutes.
Oh, you lucky rascal!
I was
Just.
right. Oh, how late? Yeah, because you got to cross the line for the pit lane entry before the 10 minutes are up. So Jake is very, very lucky. I mean, Alicia just explaining it. Jake had damage to the right rear of the car and pitted within the first 3.5 minutes. Had no alternative because he wouldn't have been able to carry on the race. So it has to be within the pit stop window. If it's not done within the mandated pit stop window, the server automatically DNFs or DQs drivers from competing. Ruby Daiquiri, who was at one point battling in the top 5, did not. I think if Ruby Daiquiri did pit, I'm not 100% sure. I mean, on our live timing, folks, we're having to keep a mental note. I'm trying to write things down, but I don't have a scrap of paper on my desk. I've got a pen, though.
No, Jake has been DQ'd. This is the thing. I think he jumped back to the pits. I don't think he was in pit lane at the moment that time ran out, but he's still there. That's what making me think he has been DQ'd because Hayes has gone through, Silver's gone through.
Same as what happened at Silverstone.
Yeah.
So, she's asking, did
Will not pit? Well, clearly not.
Yeah, Will definitely didn't pit. Ruby Daiquiri obviously either didn't pit or didn't fulfill the criteria. So, at the minute, Jack London, so far, is on course to bring in the fight to Chris McIntosh, who, by my reckoning, will still be leading the standings going into our second half of the season, which starts next week at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Then we head to Brands Hatch GP and then Stanton 300 for the last 2 rounds of the season. So there is a fight for this 150 Motorsport Ginetta Super Cup Championship. And at the moment, well, Mitch Marie is going to find himself down and probably, I would probably say, maybe second in the championship. So it'll be London. London will get closer to the 2 in front, and we won't have 2 drivers at the top of the standings. Jake said He's, you know what? This is what I like about Jake. He's gone. Was a good laugh. Not sure why my tyre exploded. Never had that before. Figured I would send it for a laugh.
Yeah, well, he's also should have pit stopped. Shouldn't you, young sir?
Well, yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's more a case of, you know, he let's give Jake his due. He put in a 2:26.0 in this race, so he was hustling it. He was hustling it big time. And but 6.5 minutes to go. Well, Jake's gone. Anywho,
No.
he's using. It's like when he said spiffing in chat last week, didn't he?
Oopsie daisy. Oopsie daisies.
Yeah, oopsie daisy.
Yeah,
Anywho, until next time.
Yes. Until next time.
Jake boy.
Yes. Mummy says I have to leave my castle now. Bye. Alicia, we're off. I know he wouldn't have got anywhere if he pitted, but it would have been fun to see him come through the field. Alicia, blind. Don't have to put complete downers on it. You know what I mean?
You have to doff your cap to Jake anyway, because he did a fantastic job up until that point. But meantime, Oliver Founds, now back in 5th position, has got a fast-charging Mitch Marie closing in as they come out of no-name corner. Our leader at the moment is making his way through into Blanchimont, and that is Jack London, who's now got a 10.5-second lead over Andrea Ruggi, with Justin Kirk rounding out the top 3. Chris McIntosh 4th ahead of this battling duo here, Oliver Founds and Mitch Marie. Alexander Karavayev in 7th, Albert Horacek, Silva and Sam Hayes rounding out the top 10. And, well, we still got Tam Harkin and Tom Wolfe. They are still running in the race, but they are a lap down off of the leader. And, well, Jack London is just coming through La Source and is now on to lap number 18. So it looks like we are going to hit, more than likely, we could even go as far as 21 laps here, James.
Yep. So I was just seeing how Marie was going to deal with this. Generally, it's the run into the bus stop, but not close enough for Mitch. There's going to have to come through the other side. I wish we had a castle, says Alicia. Every home's a castle, Alicia. It doesn't matter if it's an actual castle, it's figurative. Every home's a castle. So there we go.
Home is where you hang your hat as well.
Exactly. Well, home is where the heart is. There we go. On
well
that
put.
one.
Well put.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And Jake's also back in YouTube chat, tighten up as well. But we're coming into the last 4 minutes. London at the moment out in front. Ruggi losing that lead at the pit stop. Kirk in 2nd. Then McIntosh, Founds and Marie battling it out. Caravea in behind in 7th. He's on his own away from Horacek, Silva, Hayes, Turner. Then Harkin and Wolfe 1 lap down. But here we go from Mitch Marie. Is he going to be able to get this job done?
Yeah, he's gone round to the outside of Oliver Founds here on the Camel Straight on the run down to Les Combes. And I think that Founds has got the advantage, but Mitch Marie dive. Oh, that was cheeky as you like from Mitch Marie. You saw the nose end dive on Founds, and Mitch Marie, I think, they said, right, no, not yet, break! You know, and they just threw it around the outside like a whirling dervish.
Yeah.
That was a great move there.
Yeah, it was a great move from Marie. Very late on the brakes, managed to get the car stopped. So a great job from Marie on that one. Excellent running. Now it's the other way round. Founds is now tucked in behind Marie and seeing how much time it's going to be able to get there. Horacek just in the background, Caravea just in the background. But at the moment, Founds with Marie, with Caravea, with Horacek, with Silva, Sam Hayes, Ryan Turner, all still running. Your leader's just about to go over the line. We've got 2:27 lap times, so we are going to have one more.
Yeah, so that is going to be 19 laps completed by Jack London, who is on course to take 2 in a row. Having won last time out at Donington Park GP. Now here at Spa-Francorchamps, as you see this wonderful red sunlight from the sunset and the local surroundings bathe the circuit in its ambient glow. And Jack London heading his way through into Rouge-Hardillon, up the hill, over the crest. Neatly done by the number 11. Just it was all when it was mainly this was Andrea Ruggi's race to lose, and lost it in spectacular fashion before the pit stop by just completely overshooting it, and that's exactly what Caravaggio's just done as well, coming through the bus stop. So Caravaggio was closing in on Oliver Founds for 6th place, and Caravaggio again having a tank slapper, and the back end of that car being very unresponsive to his steering and throttle inputs.
Just as I read Live Cruiser's message, Caravaggio can finish 6th or 5th if he picks the pieces after Marie and Founds battle it out. Not now, but yes, no. I agreed with you. He could have done, but he isn't going to get there now. He's on the final lap. It's not going to happen unless Founds and Marie have some form of drama, which is what their situation is at the moment. But Mitch Marie's down the road. That's actually a bat marker. No, that's Harkin in behind Founds there, because I was like, oh, he's battling. And then I'm looking at the timing tower thinking he's 3 seconds behind here. So that's actually Tam Harkin, who's new to the grid this week. I haven't really seen much of them. And basically he's had his own little dramatics and he's at the back. But at the moment, London, a few more corners to go. He's got curve Paul Ferret, and then down through Blanchimont.
Yeah, and then the bus stop to negotiate. We could be very, very tight on time, but I think we're on course to possibly starting our 21st and final lap. Little dab of the brakes by Jack London as he heads through Blanchimont, now into the bus stop for lap number 20 being concluded here at this circuit, which I've had the pleasure of being at a couple of years ago. Funny enough, it was for doing some work at the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. 18, 17, that is another lap, 1 to go, and Jack London has just over 4.3 miles to negotiate, and he'll be on cloud 9 after picking up the win at Donington Park. He's just got to bring it home.
Yeah, he definitely has. Jake's got his orders. Alicia's cracking the whip, apparently. Will Butsy did pit, but his engine went bang.
Oh.
So he blew the engine up. So there we go. Caravaggio now not too far off the back of Founds. That is not Founds there in front. Founds is on the yellow and blue. That is Harkin in behind the back marker. So they're going to have one more lap to go. I'm not entirely sure Caravaggio's quite got the pace at the moment.
Just going to have Ryan Turner's just had a bit of an off, and he's just hit the barrier at nearly 60 miles an hour. Caravaggio last time around was 0.8 of a second. He's just right. That gap now has come down to 1.5. I mean, if Caravaggio really starts putting in a big amount of push right now, because this is the final lap, it's now declared on the top left of the timing tower as we run aboard with Caravaggio. It goes through into Rouge-Radiant up the hill once again, and the gap now is about 1.2 seconds. That should start to close now. They're gaining a little bit of velocity down the Kemmel Straight, heading into Les Corps and Malmedy before the run down the hill into Rivage. So now we're looking at, what, 1.3. But all it's going to take for Caravaggio to get through is to hope that Oliver Founds does not make a mistake, and he's not really made many of them tonight, and has kept a steady pace going as the driver in 6th place as they go down the hill once again for the final time here into Rivage. Caravaggio again taking that wider out sweeping line. Albert Horacek in the meantime has also found the barriers somewhere at about 60 kilometers an hour. And there is Jack London making his way through Blanchimont for the final time. Well, it was Chris McIntosh at the season opener, but it's going to be 2 for 2. Jack London out of the bus stop chicane, winner at Donington Park, now victorious in the Ardennes Forest. London gets the maximum score after 21 laps, and he's going to win it comfortably. And it could have been the fact that Andrea Ruggi, had it not been a drama at the bus stop early doors before the pit stop phase. Andrea Ruggi, best finish of the season so far, P2 for the, I would imagine, Italian driver. And then James Kirk now comes out of the bus stop chicane and will round out the top 3. And then there's one of the 150 motorsport cars lighting up the rear tyres. But Justin Kirk will take 3rd. Chris McIntosh will take 4th. But I think in terms of my approximate mathematical calculations, Chris will lead us into the second half of the season as standing leader, and then he starts doing the old obligatory donuts. It's going to be close between Mitch Marie and Oliver Founds, and Mitch Marie takes 5th, Oliver Founds 6th. There's a bit of argy-bargy afterwards, just for giggles. Alexander Karavayev comes across the line in 7th. We've had also Ryan Turner take the flag in 11th. Tam Harkin in 12th. Tom Wolfe, I would imagine, is going to be making his way across the line very, very shortly. He's about to hit the bus stop chicane. So there is Tom. In that, that's a love. I love that livery. I love that livery. That's old school Ginetta Supercup GT4 days back in Toka. And Tom Wolfe will cross the line in 13th. Just waiting for our drivers in 8th, 9th and 10th to cross the line. Albert Horacek is now making his way down towards the bus stop chicane for the final time. And what an exciting, eventful race it's been. We've had incidents, we've had accidents, we've had laughter and giggles, and more to the point, we've had a great race here at Spa, over 21 laps of racing. And there's an old Mike Epps Team Hard livery from back in the day. And Sam Hayes is our last driver to cross the line, and he just gets taken out by tomfoolery on the start-finish straight. Well, what can you say about that one? 2 for 2 for Jack London. Chris McIntosh now on his own as the series points leader. That was a great race, actually. I thought, okay, we're not going to have the most amount of laps like we had, 33 at Donington Park. But here, Jack London's really proved his worth and has said to Chris McIntosh, wait for it, hold my beer. I'm coming to get you, buddy.
Yeah, I did wonder whether or not Jack was going to be able to get Jake. That would have been an interesting battle, I think, to find out here. That would have been an interesting one. But there we go. Another round done and dusted.
So, folks, get this date in your diaries. 7 days' time. 27th of February, round 4 of the 150 Motorsport Ginetta Supercup Championship will head from the Ardennes Forest to the Eifel region of Germany, to the Green Hell and the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. This has been a JP Broadcasting production. Join myself, Alex Goldschmidt and James Parfitt, who have been your commentary team tonight. Well, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, you better go flat out. We'll see you next week. Good night. Thanks for watching.